Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Angry Hacks podcast. It is a gorgeous Tuesday evening, March the 6th, and we have not been back in quite some time. Another little hiatus, but we're back and better than ever with a little baseball preview coming at you. Football is in the rearview mirror, and here we come with a little preview of our Major League Baseball. So tonight we will feature the American League, 3 divisions. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk a little bit about each team, a couple of players, key players in each division, yada yada yada. And also we will we'll end off with a nice broader view of the New York Yankees. So without further ado, Michael Hall and Ryan Stanley in the same room, boys. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm glad that you guys are you're together tonight. Makes things just a tad easier.
Feeling good, looking good.
Mike, how you doing, bro?
Good, but you kind of tick me off and you always give me these nice weather reports because you're sitting down in beautiful South Carolina and I'm up here with a snowstorm coming. It's not a beautiful night, everyone, not in the Northeast.
And well, when I say a beautiful night, I don't mean it. I don't mean the temperature. I just mean the atmosphere, the environment.
It's talk, so it's a beautiful
that
night.
You're spending time on the airwaves with the Angry Hacks.
Doing a little back with the Angry Hacks podcast. That's what I mean by beautiful.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm
okay.
With you.
So, boys, baseball. It's our favorite sport. We got a nice long season, which means many, many, many pods. And I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. So we're going to break down each division and we're going to do it a little unorthodox today. We're going to start in the West, usually start in the East, but we want to finish off on the most important division that we would talk about. So AL West, Ryan Stanley, start us off, man. What are you feeling in this division?
Well, I'm gonna jump right to the cellar dwellers, okay, or who I think may be. And I thought we'd go over tonight. We just talk about one thing that we had in mind for each team. And I'm looking at the Oakland A's, and really, there's nothing going on. When the biggest topic of your freaking offseason and spring training is that Bruce Maxwell will not kneel for the anthem this year, you're not having a good season, okay?
Is that the catcher?
Yeah, exactly. Like this is like the biggest story at Oakland's camp right now. And they have Chris Davis, a guy that might hit him 40 home runs and 100 RBIs. So if you need to look at something like fantasy wise, that's like the only guy here. But otherwise, this team's got nothing brewing in Oakland. Do you guys have anything to talk about with athletics of Oakland and this? Not only do they play in the worst stadium in baseball, I know I've been there. Well, I guess it rivals Tampa, but they're just awful right now.
You know what? It's funny you bring up Chris Davis because he is kind of like the lone bright spot. I saw this little, I guess you can call it a stat on Twitter, and it just said most home runs by batting order position in 2017. And he batted out of the cleanup spot and hit the most home runs out of the cleanup spot with 42. Which is kind of funny when you think about it, because you have all these big home run hitters like Stanton, but Stanton batted mostly 2. You have Judge. Judge also batted a lot of 2, right, Mike?
Judge hit a lot out of the 2 hole.
Right.
Listen, so
it's kind of interesting. I guess that's the only thing I'm going to bring to the table is Chris Davis. Can he put up another 40 plus home run season?
Yes.
I like Chris Davis because he's 6 foot, maybe 5'11". Like he's a smaller slugger, I guess you could say. So, the little guys root for him like me. But other than him, I can't tell you their starting rotation. I 1 through 9. I have no idea what they're gonna suck. I know they have one of their starting pitchers is Jarrell Cotton because I saw him pitch at the stadium last year against the Yankees. That's about it.
Well, the funny thing about Oakland, too, is they've actually spent some money this offseason on some middle relievers like, Petit, that guy that came up with the Mets. And they were spending some money quick, and then that was it. That's
well, now, I should remember, but I don't. Do you remember what the Yankees gave them in the Sonny Gray trade? I mean, I know some prospects. Was it, it was James Caprillion,
right,
the pitcher. And I can't remember. I don't know if any really major league ready guys, but they weren't major league ready guys with the Yankees. With the A's, that changes a lot. I mean, these guys could be big leaguers a lot sooner now.
Right, and if Billy Beane maybe sees something, maybe he can get back to the Moneyball ways and put something out there. You never know.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. One other thing, I mean, they're the pitcher that I remember from them, that guy Sean Manaea. He was
right, yeah,
not bad. The lefty,
right. Yeah, the little long Hawaiian flow.
Right. So he was kind of he wasn't bad.
No, he's a good pitcher. He's if that guy has a couple more good, be like a fringe all-star kind of, definitely their ace. Yeah, Mane's pretty good. Forgot about him.
Dustin Fowler,
right? The guy, the kid who hurt his knee in Chicago.
Right, he's the Yankee, the outfielder. So I don't think he's not projected to start, but he's there. And they made that trade with. This is the one story. This is the one I forgot, but this is the last thing to say about the A's for me. The Stephen Pisciotti trade from the Cardinals, so that he could be close to his mom that was dealing with cancer or ALS.
ALS, yep.
ALS, so that he could be close, and that was the big deal with them, and I really appreciated them getting that done with St. Louis, working together to make that happen.
And a good player too.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, no, that good point, Ryan. I think you brought that up, a few weeks ago in one of the pods, and just an amazing story and great job by the organization of the St. Louis Cardinals to grant that. And basically, the trade was because he wanted to move closer to his mother, his ailing mother. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, I mean, I'm rooting for the guy too to have a nice little season.
That'd be great.
Be great. So if you're looking at the A's, and I think we're all in consensus that they're probably the bottom dwellers of that division, do they even win 65, 70 games? Who knows? But I think right above them, guys, if I'm looking at two teams, kind of, I don't know where I would put them. Rangers and Mariners. So, what do you think? Who's got the better team? What's a good story from those two teams?
Well, I'll start with the Mariners here, Ryan. And this is something that I was talking with Mike about. Is this finally the year? Every year they're right there, and you're like, oh, they're a player away.
Mm-hmm.
They're a player away, and then they add a player, and they're still a player away. How many times can you keep adding a player?
They're perpetually a player away.
Yeah, that's
and
the
still
player away.
A player away. I want the Mariners to be good because they have some real talent on this team. And Robbie Cano and Nelson Cruz, and they're getting older, but they're fun to watch. They traded for D. Gordon this year. Is that the player away? Can they take the next step? So I would like to see what they do with D. Gordon because isn't he? I think he might be playing the outfield this year. So that's the one thing I'm looking at with the Mariners is how they can adjust. They have a leadoff guy, I would imagine, in D. Gordon here that has never played outfield, in the pros. Let's see how he can transition to the outfield.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, they are the perpetual team that's always that one player away. And, they've had a stud pitcher for years. And now Felix Hernandez is getting older. He's not the same guy he was. And, fortunately for them, they got that nice left-hander. What's his name? Paxton. Very, very good pitcher. So you got a nice little left-handed young stud.
Trained too many times.
Yeah.
He's got to stay healthy.
Right. But you're right. Is D. Gordon a guy that can really, jumpstart this team in the right direction? My only issue is this division has not gotten easy.
No.
You have the World Series champs in this division, and you have a team like the Angels who loaded up. So they may be one player away again. Who knows?
You're right. But I look at their lineup. Their lineup could be pretty good. Nelson Cruz is the DH. They got D. Gordon. You
have the kid Mitch Haniger there.
Haniger, Segura, Seager, Cano, Healy, and Zunino actually had a pretty good year last year.
Ryan Healy?
Yeah.
Formerly of the A's.
Yes.
I didn't know the Mariners got him. Oh, wow. That's a very good lineup.
That's not a bad lineup at all.
But like you said, it's the same story with the Mariners. They're always good on paper.
Right.
They're always good on paper.
Every year. And this is the thing. Like you mentioned, Paxton and King Felix is getting older. King Felix needs to return to the well. He needs to be King Felix. And Paxton needs to be a number one.
Yeah. And Paxton's got the stuff to do it. He just hasn't been healthy enough. And Haniger, too. Like I think Haniger and Paxton have been the two brightest young players / prospect the last couple of years. Not big leaguers, but the both of them have had a hard time staying on the field. I mean, Haniger, it's been kind of fluky. Haniger was the guy that DeGrom hit in the face last year. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been like some fluky things. I've had Haniger on my fantasy team the last 2 years. He's always getting hurt, and the same thing with Paxton. So now if those guys stay healthy, because that's the youth. I mean, that's like kind of the young jolt that team has with the rest of the lineup getting a little bit older. And with Felix getting older. So if Paxton and Haniger can stay healthy, they're very good players, and the Mariners can win a lot of games.
Well, and smart move by the Mariners today, getting in talks with Ichiro Suzuki, bringing him back. And that's got to be something nice for the fan base if that does come to fruition here. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. And and he wants to finish his career with the Mariners, and, he might still have a couple years left. Who the heck knows? He's kind of like a freak of nature. And, you jump to a team like the Rangers, I feel like their biggest kind of stories have been the addition of some ancient guys. Well, not both of them, but, you pick up Big Bart, our boy.
Big
and they also just they signed Tim Lincecum. Timmy Lincecum, Michael. Yeah. So, I mean, like, what are you getting out of those two? You don't really know. And is Lincecum going to go to the bullpen? Is that what his role is going to be? Who knows?
Well, I believe you're right, because their staff is going to consist of Hamels and Matt Moore, Pfister, and Mike Minor, but maybe Cologne and Lincecum battle for that 5 spot, or did they already say Lincecum was coming out of the pen?
I don't think they made it definite, but I think it's an option that they're kind of exploring. I mean, he's brand new to this team, only a few days or so, or a week on this team, so we don't really know what's going to go on there. They have a couple of nice young hitters in Joey Gallo. He kind of had a little bit of a breakout season in a weird way, right? I mean, remember a couple of those stats that were so crazy, those power stats.
Yeah, he had more extra base hits than singles or something like that.
It was like insanely ridiculous. He was sitting under like 200 for a while, but he had like 30 home runs.
Or nothing, but a lot of all. That's for sure.
Well, he's supposed to be starting the whole year this year. He's going to have the whole year to prove himself. So let's see if he can, lift the average a little. I think he was hitting around 200. Excuse me. He was hitting really low in the 200s. Then he kind of got hot at some point, and it felt like every at-bat was like a double or a homer.
Right. But they have a couple of nice little young players. I mean, Elvis Andrus is pretty solid at shortstop. I would say he's, one of the more solid ones in the league. And they still got your boy, right, Rye? Isn't Adrian Beltre still around?
Yeah, future Hall of Famer.
Still around. Man,
future Hall of Famer.
Future Hall of Famer, Adrian Beltre.
Well, he is.
Oh, 100%. Can't even argue it anymore.
No.
It's not argument.
Well, we're not going to argue about Beltre. And I wouldn't anyway. But listen, the Rangers are going to score runs. You have Rougned Odor. I mean, you have a good lineup. The question with the Rangers, it's always pitching, and particularly the bullpen. They were horrible last year.
Oof.
They were horrible, and I think that's why talking about Tim Lincecum being in the bullpen is a serious conversation, because they were horrible in the back. Like the whole bullpen. I mean, they blew games left and right, and nobody they could run onto the mound out of the pen that could get any outs. So that's going to be the big question mark for me.
Hey, I'm rooting for Lincecum and Bart, to be honest. I'm rooting for those two guys. The two guys I like to root for.
Bart.
Absolutely. I mean, Bart all the time. I mean,
right.
he's just
You know that guy.
he has cemented himself as one of the more fun New York Mets to ever watch. No?
Yeah. I mean, when you get the crowd singing "Let's Go Big Sexy," nothing better. Nothing better.
And then when you hit a home run in a pitcher's park, that's even better.
Oh,
And
Gary Cohen exploded. He literally his body just exploded.
Yeah, that was one of the better moments in the last couple of years for that team. And now, Ryan, I know you really wanted to get to this topic. So you have the Angels, and they made some huge splashes in the offseason. One being getting Ohtani, the possible two-way player. What do you think of him?
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing I'm most curious about in all of baseball, other than like the Mets right now, is Ohtani. This is a great story. This is great. And Jerry Krasnick on ESPN or whatever, he writes this article talking about Ohtani. And I don't know if he's quoting like a scout or if it's his quote, but the best two-way player we've ever seen. Well, guess what?
He's the only
one. Brooks like Krishnik is the only other one I ever remember. So it's not like that's the best company, but this is exciting. I saw he got robbed by Billy Hamilton yesterday. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I see some people say he's anywhere from 12 to 15 wins. He's going to be like a Darvish, and then he's going to spot start at DH. That's what I read about Scioscia. And this is an interesting thing. Tie this together with the Rangers and the Angels. Is what I heard about both these teams is they're both flirting with the chance at a 6-man rotation, which is now making big waves in Major League Baseball to keep these guys' innings counts and pitch counts lower. And we're going to start seeing this a lot of the years. Even, when we started seeing it the last few, 6-man rotations or a lot of guys that spot start in the middle to give guys these extra days rest. It's going to happen a lot more now.
Oh, yeah. And the way bullpens work, I mean, even if you don't go to a full 6-man rotation, that 6th day is kind of like a bullpen day where you have your long man give you 3 and just, you don't punt the day, but you make it a bullpen day. Like the Yankees would, you start Chad Green and he gives you 3 and, Chasen Shreve. It's like it turns into like a spring training game. You can do it that way if you don't have true 6 starter. But yeah, a lot of teams are doing this, and I think we're going to see more and more. I mean, Ohtani, Babe Ruth, I guess, but he hit 800-foot home runs and he throws 1,000,000 miles an hour. Yeah, and he has a partial tear in his elbow ligament too. So let's wait and see. But I think his value is on the mound.
And yeah, I think for this team too, who
right,
that's kind of their weak spot is their pitching, because I mean their offense is led by one of the better players in the league in Trout, and you got the veteran leadership in Pujols still, and they also re-signed Justin Upton, added Kinsler and Cozart up the middle, so they made some big splashes this offseason to get better offensively.
Yeah, and you didn't even mention Simmons, who might be one of the best defensive shortstops in the game.
He's very good defensively.
And you mentioned Trout as being one of the best. See, I think Mike Trout is the best player in baseball, and I hope that he stays healthy all year, because I would love to see this guy, win MVP or something like that. Mike Trout is awesome.
Yeah. Baseball's better.
Yeah, he's awesome in many, many, many facets of the game. Talk about a 5-tool player. He may have 6 tools.
Yeah, he's A+ in all 5.
Yeah,
and you guys are, and don't forget, the greatest manager in baseball.
That was my next comment. This guy's lasted longer than he's been around as Angels like the last 3 presidents. This guy's been around forever, Scioscia.
Come on, and the Met fans love.
No.
It's grotesque.
I'm replaying that in my mind right now, which is
ridiculous.
It's grotesquely swollen jaw.
He's storing Big League Chew down there. His jowls.
He has like John Blackout Gatling with the dip, with Big League Chew around, and just like big wads in his jowls.
Baseball style.
But seriously, guys, let's be honest, and let's really get down to the meat and potatoes, because I don't think anybody in this division has a chance against the Houston Astros. They're above and beyond the best team in that division. I see them winning 100 games, 100 plus games this year. They have one of the better young offensive teams in the league, if not the best. It's just an all-around great team. Their pitching's great. Verlander, just a resurgence. And then they add Garrett Cole. I mean, is any team going to dethrone them in the West? Let's be honest.
I don't think it's close. I mean, we'll go through these divisions, but this may be over by August.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? Like, you can make an all-star team with the other 4 teams, and they wouldn't beat the Astros once out of 10.
Right.
I don't think. And they're that good.
They're good, and they have depth. They have depth at every position.
And they got better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they added pieces. They didn't just sit there, you know, and you know, they have young guys still. They still have prospects that can come up and contribute here. They haven't traded them all away. Right. They got Garrett Cole for like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and
right. I mean,
you know, it's amazing too.
He was up with the club last year, really fast.
Mark.
He's probably still considered a prospect. He didn't play enough.
Marshnick, that one, Jake?
No, not Marshnick. Crap, I can't remember his name. Play a little left field. And he's fast. But I can't think of his name right now. Derek Fisher. Thank you.
That's yeah.
Not the basketball player / pretend coach. The baseball player.
/ went out with Matt Barnes' wife.
Cuckold.
No, the Astros they're loaded. They're loaded. There's no way around it.
Yeah, and they added Joe. I think they added Joe Smith to the bullpen.
Why not? Sure, why not?
Man,
listen, the adventures, Giles had in the bullpen in the postseason.
Yeah, this is still going to be what's their weakness. It's going to be their bullpen.
Their bugaboo.
And it's not maybe for most teams, maybe it's not a weakness, but since they're a playoff team, this could really come to bite them.
And almost cost them a trip. The Yankees almost beat the Astros because of the Astros bullpen.
Right. So you got Giles, you got Peacock coming out of the pen, Joe Smith, Hector Rondon. These guys don't scare me.
No.
I like Joe Smith a lot. Will Harris. That guy, what is that guy? Davinsky?
Yeah, Davinsky, whose first half he was unhittable, and then his second half in the postseason, he couldn't get anybody out.
Tony Sip, the lefty?
Yeah.
That's like his name, Sip.
Yeah.
Oh, do they still have Sip? I don't think they have Sip anymore.
No, I thought they did.
Maybe they do.
Take a sip.
Hold on, let's look up this. Yeah, he's on there.
Okay, Tony Sip still out there.
Tony, take a sip.
Tony, take a.
Well, they're just a great ball club. They're fun to watch. They could be really good for a really long time with Gurriel, Altuve, Bregman, Correa, Springer. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, right. I mean, don't forget, too. I mean, they did it the right way. They waited a while. They were awful for many years, and they just built up that farm system. They had the best farm system for a couple of years straight, and look what it's gotten them. Got them a World Series, and now they have this young core that is just ready to explode and win many championships. It's unbelievable. And that's the way you do it.
It is. And, and that's how they got Springer and Correa. But I just can never get over the fact about how Jose Altuve just came out of nowhere. I mean, he was not a high draft pick. He wasn't drafted.
He was the guy. He was the exception.
He was barely signed. Like, he had to beg to be signed. I've told the story. It's unbelievable. Like, they draft well. They, like you said, they sucked for years. They took their licks, but they drafted well, and they found Jose Altuve out of a trash heap. It's unbelievable.
Exactly. So, I mean, we're going to sit here. We're going to say, guys, the Astros are going to win that division. And like you said, Mike, it could be by May. Who the heck knows?
Yeah, it could be clinched by Memorial Day.
It really could. All right. So if we're moving up, we're going to go to the AL Central, which is probably the worst division, top to bottom. If you think about it in all the divisions, that's what I would think. Another division where it's super top heavy. So Ryan, let's start at the bottom, man. What do you think is who's going to be that bottom dweller in that division?
I think it's got to be the White Sox.
Probably Chicago.
And but there are some things I like here, and the two guys that I'm interested in. This is my my thought here is, Jan Moncada and Jose Abreu, right? Abreu's proven himself. Moncada really hasn't yet, but could this be the future, or is Abreu on the trading block? Like, I'm just going to say the Mets because we're Met fans, and Abreu would be a great addition. But is Abreu a guy that's going to be out there and available for teams around the deadline this year? This team traded everybody away last offseason. They traded not last offseason, last season. Yeah. They traded everybody. They just fire sale. They got a lot of good packages. They got a lot of great players. And let's see what some of these prospects can become here in Chicago. I'm very interested in this. And I'm just interested if they're going to keep trying to sell guys, if they're going to try to trade high on Abreu. I have no idea what this team is doing, what Rick Renteria is going to do here.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, if we were to talk about this team, it's, they're going to be years away. I mean, they have all these young pieces now that need to mature in the minors and, get better. And we know baseball, man, it could take a couple years for these guys to get there and be all together and then kind of work out. So they're a team that's going to be probably at the bottom of that division, if not the last, second to last, but it's kind of a work in progress type of team.
Yeah, I got nothing for the White Sox. They're going to suck.
Yeah, they're going to suck.
And you know what? What's his name? Hawk Harrelson still calling the games.
Yeah, your boy.
Horrible.
Your boy Hawk. I mean, guys, not really far in front of this team though is the Tigers and the Royals. I think both have kind of taken a step back. The Tigers made a lot of trades to kind of unload on some of these veterans, so they're going to be a rough team, I would think. What do you guys think?
The Tigers, I think it's the same thing. They traded some guys last year, getting rid of J.D. Martinez. I do think, and Verlander, obviously, being their big guy, but I do think that Miguel Cabrera.
Kinsler, too.
Right. I think Cabrera, though, will return to maybe not old Miguel Cabrera form, but I think he'll be, if he is at all on the field, I think he'll be fine. And they're going to get some production out of him. And this is another guy, though, like Abreu, that I could see moving midseason and becoming like the best DH on an American League team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Michael Fulmer's the real deal, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's very good. I mean, we know him well. I mean, we can't really complain about that trade. I mean, it's kind of working both ways. But he's a nice young piece right there. But like you said, they're kind of in the same mix as the White Sox, kind of traded all these guys away. And it's kind of like a rebuilding year or 2 or 3 or 4. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they'll be able to hit a little bit. I mean, when you look at, Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Nicholas Castellanos, these guys can hit. And obviously, the top end of the rotation's pretty good. Behind that, though, like you said, it's kind of top heavy in talent, a lot of rebuilding behind it. So, this will be a team that probably sell again. I mean, like Stanley said, Cabrera could be on the trade block, massive contract, but you never know.
But do you take a gamble? Would you take a gamble? Not the Yankees, obviously. They don't need a player like that. But the Red Sox, who are chasing the Yanks, say, I mean, I know that I think J.D. Martinez might play DH there because they have a pretty good outfield, so maybe it doesn't make sense for them either. But just say something happened where J.D. Martinez moves to the outfield and they had an open at DH. Do you take that chance for a guy like Cabrera?
Oh, people will.
Yeah, absolutely. If the Tigers are selling him, someone is going to buy.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're one of those fringe teams, fringe playoff teams, or a team, who is in the playoffs but wants to get over that threshold, I mean, he's a nice piece to have for a playoff run.
Absolutely.
And you guys can't forget, man, they have one of the coolest names for a pitcher, Buck Farmer.
Oh, Buck Farmer.
I mean, come on. I saw that, dude. I'm playing FanDuel and I'm trying to pick pitchers, and I see this guy's name, Farmer. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's a fun name. So I click on his name. Not only is it Farmer, it's Buck Farmer.
I mean, can it be anything else except Buck? Could you expect?
Oh man,
I took Buck Farmer one time last year in
Uh-huh.
FanDuel, and he did horrible. And I still like the guy just because of the name.
can't get away from the name. It's a great name.
Buck Farmer. Come on.
And I would say the next team, Rye, a huge surprise last year, surprised us big time. Your favorite thing, they were quote unquote sellers, if you don't, remember, close to the deadline. And then they ended up making the playoffs and had that one, they had the 1-game playoff against the Yankees, the Twins.
Yeah, dude, I'm loving the Twins, and I'm loving their offseason. I'm loving that they're trying. Like, they're not a big market team. I love that selling stuff, right? You got me juiced.
I knew you'd like that.
Making the playoffs. I love it. But I like this team. I like that they're trying to add pieces. They're doing what the Mets are doing, but they're in a small market, as where the Mets are in a big market, which is stupid. But whatever. They're trying to get guys here. They added, they have a good young, a bunch of good young players, what I'm trying to say, and Buxton and Sano and Kepler. And they added Logan Morrison the other day to be a DH. This guy, I believe he was in the home run derby, or pissed off he wasn't in the home run derby. I can't remember now, but
yeah, pissed off that Sanchez was.
Right.
Not really about himself,
right.
Sad, but whatever.
And then they make this trade with the Rays for Jake
Odorizzi,
yeah. which I think they got him for like nothing. That's a great deal. And he's going to pitch in the rotation now with Berrios, who was really good last year.
Electric stuff, Berrios.
And then they signed Addison Reed, who we know has been a very good reliever the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that they're making moves here. And Byron Buxton, if he can be any better offensively, that's just a plus, because he could hit 200 and he's fine because his defense is so good out there.
Man.
He's incredible.
Yeah. And you know what? You're forgetting a guy that just kind of went underrated last year and just under the radar in what's his name? Eddie Rosario. I mean, the guy had an excellent year in the outfield.
Don't forget about Brian Dozier at the top of the lineup. I mean,
yeah, and he's been a staple there for a while. But very, very solid infielder. One of the better ones there.
Yeah, 34 homers last year and like 40 the year before.
Oh yeah.
And then Joe Mauer is still there. Maybe not what he used to be, but still hitting
you get 300. You get that veteran presence there. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and he hit 300 last year. And if he could do that again with these other guys in the lineup, he's not – I know he plays first base, but he's not asked to hit home runs.
Right.
Sano hits you 28. Dozier hits you 34. You have these other guys sprinkled in there. Logan Morrison comes in, maybe hits you 25. I'm liking what the Twins are doing, Rye. I'm liking it.
And I'm reading that they offered Lance Lynn a 2-year, $20 million contract, and Lance Lynn turned it down.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But maybe that gets revisited in a week when Lance Lynn's still sitting on the, on the pine.
Which, sign the fucking contract. What is with these guys?
I know. Even Hosmer the other day signed that monster contract and said something. He's upset the way it's going this year for the players this offseason.
Because guess what? Ownership realizes you guys aren't fucking worth these, 30-year contracts. So suck it up and sign these deals. That's for another discussion. But to your point, the Twins are trying to add another arm. Like I said, it could just be the start of negotiations with the guy. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, the Twins, listen, playoff team last year.
I would say they'll be in the running for a playoff position this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. They did, and you know what? They did a lot in the offseason so far to help their cause. So, but it's going to be very difficult again to try to catch the Cleveland Indians, who we're about to talk about. Another team who had a really good year, set that record for most consecutive wins. I mean, they just had a great year. And I think another team that's just above and beyond going to win that division. That's just me. I mean, there's so much talent, young talent. They do kind of remind me of the Astros. Nice young little core there. It's nice to see, because another team that had great success in the 90s, and then they really petered out and were freaking awful for a couple of years. So another team that looks really good. And just before, we start talking about them, Big story. Well, not really big story, but the story for them so far. How about Jason Kipnis' spring so far? 6 home runs in 6 games.
Yeah, because the Mets didn't want him, right?
I was thinking the same thing, right?
Well, see, my thing here is they have made some moves this year, though, that are, they're trying to revisit the well. They kept Kipnis, They brought back Mike Napoli. They got Yonder Alonso because they lost Santana,
right,
who was their advanced metrics, on base guy that they lost in free agency, I think. But that is a little bit of a big change for this team. This guy was batting leadoff for them, even though he's not a traditional leadoff hitter, and they're going to have to replace that in the lineup. Is Yonder Alonso able to do that, who finally had a good year last year after like 7 seasons? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, he doesn't have to be the guy, though, so he could just kind of blend in.
No, it's true. They're a good team. They're a solid team, and great manager. Tito's a great man. I can't say great, but he's one of the best in the game now.
Yeah.
And then they have, we talk about that Astros young core. I love Lindor.
Oh
yeah. Lindor, Jose
Ramirez too. Just awesome.
The kid Bradley Zimmer. Waiting for a breakout from him.
Maybe Brantley stays healthy for once.
Michael Brantley.
Great. Yeah, he's a good hitter when healthy, man.
He's a good hitter. He's a good outfielder, but always hurt.
Encarnacion.
Right. Edwin Arm Up, Encarnacion. You still have Corey Kluber. I mean,
their staff is good.
You had a resurgence from the kid Trevor Bauer.
Yep.
The bullpen, excellent. Listen, they pitch, start to finish. They hit, they throw and catch.
You see what guy?
Very good team.
You know what guy they got in the bullpen this year that I was looking at from the Yankees? You know what I'm talking about, or no? Not Andrew Miller. And I'm Nick Goody.
Oh, Nick Goody Two Shoes. Yeah, I remember Nick Goody.
Goody Two Shoes.
Nick Goody was a spring training all-star for a couple years, but could never really crack it. But yeah, Goody's got good stuff.
But also, Salazar gets banged up now. He got hurt in spring.
Another one.
But we'll see, and he's pretty good. But we'll see. We'll see what this injury is. I don't know the specifics.
Yeah, because remember last year the Indians towards the end,
they get his shoulder.
Man, they did that without Salazar and without
Clevenger was there.
No,
Carrasco.
Carlos Carrasco.
Yep.
Without those two guys,
right, and they're both pretty good.
They're both pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So
that's just it's another deep team, guys.
Bauer. I mean, and that bullpen. Listen, Cleveland's they're gonna flirt with 100 again, easily.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say that, Mike, and another team just like the Astros, where I said I think they're going to win 100 plus. I think the Indians are in the same boat. I think they're gonna go for that 100 plus too.
I'm with you. Now I know this team's going to suck, but let's not skip the Royals.
Yeah, we forgot to add them to the list here.
Forgot about the poor Royals. So
well, all right, poor, but are they going to remain as poor as they are? Is Moustakas coming back? What is going on with Mike Moustakas? He's still out there.
It's strange.
That's why Hosmer came out with that comment.
No, I know.
Moustakas,
it's his buddy.
That's his boy. And of course, it's weird that it's March 6th and Mike Moustakas is not on a team.
Right.
It is strange, and this whole free agent scenario is really for a different day because it's a whole new can of worms. But you
were talking. I just quickly got to say about the Royals. You were talking about Buck Farmer being a great name for a pitcher. Well, I've always liked the name of this guy on the Royals in the outfield, Bubba Starling.
Just love
that name.
Great name.
We'll see if he makes it, but if he makes the roster. But
Hosmer gone, Moustakas possibly gone, Lorenzo Cain gone.
All right, Perez is the guy left.
Sal Perez.
And they added Duda. So Duda's their first baseman. And the funny thing about this, Rye, is I saw this stat online. If you look up the numbers of Duda and Hosmer together,
yep,
they're like, obviously Hosmer's batting average is much higher, but that's it. Duda beats him in every other category.
I could see that. Home runs, doubles, slugging, obviously.
On base.
Yeah, I could see that. On base, too. Well, Duda walked a lot.
Right.
He drew a lot of walks.
And one thing, too, is they still got Alex Gordon on the team. And can you really keep running Alex Gordon out there the way he's looked the last 2 years?
Oh, man, he has been just god-awful. I am so glad the Mets didn't go after him.
Oh, me too. It would be the type of guy we'd get. We dodged a bullet there, I guess.
I guess so. Because they were definitely in the running to go after him when he was a free agent a few years ago.
The Royals just signed
John Jay
a couple hours ago.
Right. Did see that headline.
So they won't be horrible. Danny Duffy on the mound. You guys can help me out with the rest of that rotation because right now I'm drawing a blank.
Ian Kennedy.
Yeah, Ian.
I mean, okay.
They're not going to be horrible, but they're not going to be very good.
Right. They're not going to be maybe they might be the doormat of the division, but the White Sox give a run for the money.
Yeah. They won't be the worst team in the league.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Royals, Tigers, and White Sox battling it out.
Just three shitty teams kicking the shit out of each other.
Exactly. Well, now that leaves us with the American League East, and Mike, you know this division well, so I'm going to let you lead us off. It's only fitting. Who's going to be at the bottom? Who's at the bottom of this division?
Oh, it's the Rays. The Marlins light.
The Devil Rays.
Ryan Stanley still calls them the Devil Rays.
Wade Boggs still on the team?
Yeah, he is. Remember that? Those hideous Devil Rays jerseys?
Jose Canseco.
Oh my god!
Oh, I forgot about that.
I was just watching The Rookie the other day, and he was in the locker room for the first time, and they panned the jerseys, and it's just so many like old like great players like Canseco and Boggs. There were a couple other ones that I was cracking up.
I think I have a quick little story about Jose Canseco that I could be making up or it could be true, and Mike might remember if this is true or not. I'm not fully positive.
I'm excited to go ahead.
So our team that we played for, our men's league team that we played for, had like a tournament team, and they go play in like Arizona or something, and they go out one night and they're at the casino, and the bloopers are on, and they have the one where Canseco gets hit in the head and the ball goes over his head. And they're playing poker, and at the table playing poker with them is Canseco. So they think this is funny, and then the next day he's in the men's tournament in the same league, playing like with like 50-year-old men, like bombing homers left and right in the league.
Oh God,
it's so funny.
Canseco probably still juicing for the men's league too.
Oh, definitely
hitting 600-foot bombs with an aluminum bat. Yeah, that is a true story.
It was, right?
We weren't there, but that story was told to us.
I didn't make that up.
Yeah, and it had to have happened. You can't,
you can't make that shit up.
There's no way they made that shit up. So yeah, the Devil Rays will come in last, I think. They just, Odorizzi gone.
Well,
Longoria gone.
This is what I feel so bad about them. Archer, 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, thinks, I think we might have one of the best staffs in baseball. And maybe he has an argument with Archer, Odorizzi, Snell, right? Who else did they I think they got rid of another starter, and then they're all gone. And now it's just Archer.
Yeah.
And Baldy.
Yeah.
You don't have much there. A very like cast of characters here. I mean, you got Kiermaier, looks like a nice little player.
Well, Kevin Kiermaier, you talk about Buxton defensively. I mean, and just in like the AL East, and we'll get to, but I mean, some of the defensive center field that gets played in baseball these days between Kiermaier and Buxton and Pilar in Toronto, and Adam Jones used to be excellent. He's still pretty good. It's like the worst of the bunch now. It's crazy. These guys are so good. But yeah, Archer is still top of the line type of guy, but he's not the guy he once was. He's really not.
Right. Well, you talk about them having Boggs and Canseco, and these guys aren't like that, but they're going back to that route now, adding Denard Span and Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, come on.
Old guys that, are okay on teams, but not – those are like their headline names here, and it's not looking good.
No, I mean, and Blake Snell, he's an exciting prospect. And he got a taste of the big leagues last year, but, we'll see if he makes a jump here in the second year. But he walked way too many guys. I mean, the guy never got out of the fifth inning. So, if he's the number two, which he probably will be
Yeah.
behind Archer. In this division, I can see the Rays have a very, very long season.
Yeah, I could see it too, dude. So I guess you can bunch the next two teams together. I don't know who you think is going to be a better team, but the Orioles and the Blue Jays, I mean, I feel like it's the same story with those two teams every year too.
Yeah, I guess we could start with Toronto. Baltimore might be a slight edge to Baltimore. Yeah, Toronto, Marcus Stroman's a very nice young pitcher. But even him in Toronto, they didn't have a very friendly arbitration meeting, I heard. I mean, those things get ugly anyway. They're ugly by nature.
Yeah. You're
basically going in there and you're ripping the player apart, to win your case, which Toronto did. The arbiter favored for Toronto and not Stroman. I don't know what the figures were. Stroman came out of it a little pissed off. You don't know how that's going to affect him for the year. But this team, Toronto's shtick is just worn. The fake tough guy shit with this team with Donaldson and Batista.
Is Batista there? Is he signed?
I don't even know.
I think he's the Moustakas guy. I think he's still out there.
He's another Moustakas.
He's another guy out there.
And great example of that guy's fall from wherever the hell he was. No one even cares that Jose Batista isn't signed.
Well, one thing about the Blue Jays for me, Rye, is Curtis Granderson. He's there.
I knew you were going to go there.
I love this guy. It looks like he's projected to be the starting left fielder.
Wow.
And I hope that he can put together a year that shocks people. I hope that he does. I love this guy. He's a great guy. He's a great leader. And I hope he does something. And then, so I'm rooting for him there. And then they added in a trade, I think, the Cardinals, they got that guy Grichuk. Randall,
yeah, they did.
Who I always thought was going to be very good. And I think that having guys like Grant, I don't know. I think that Grichuk could be good. And if you can get Pilar and Donaldson, you know what? They suck. Tulowitzki sucks.
Yeah,
like they
and he'll be hurt by June, like he always is.
I'm trying to make a case for them to be good because I like Stroman, I like Granderson.
Russell Martin's your starting catcher. Come on.
Yeah, I mean their staff is okay. Estrada, Stroman, Sanchez.
An interesting player for them is Justin Smoke too, because
great year last year.
Great year, and a guy who you just waited for a good 5, 6, 7 years. With Seattle, he was a big time prospect out of college. Never really put it together.
38 bombs.
And last year he did from both sides of the dish. He's probably better hitter right-handed. Torched the Yankees last year. So he's an interesting guy. We'll see if he can repeat that. But, the rotation, Marcus Stroman, J. Happ.
Sanchez.
Yeah. Aaron Sanchez, who's...
It's not bad.
He's a very good pitcher, but he's this guy where, always worried about innings limits, and they move him from the bullpen back to the rotation. So, you don't know, will he turn into the next job of Chamberlain because they're always moving him around. He fucks with guys. You don't know. Estrada, they signed Jaime Garcia. If Jaime Garcia is penciled to be your 5th starter, that's not good.
He's okay.
He's okay. He's not that good.
Well, guys, if I'm going to say something about the Blue Jays, I mean, because I feel like it's the same thing every year with them again. Another team, big hitting team, just the kind of mediocre pitching, always kind of sits in the middle of that division. Always plays second and third fiddle. The Yankees and Red Sox, but kind of exciting. Might not even be in their major league system. Vlad Guerrero Jr., 18 years old, their top prospect. That is just cool. Because I loved Vlad.
Right. Yeah. I love you coming out with that now.
Because, I was looking at the prospects, Keith Law's prospects, and, he's him and, who's the other guy? His another big time player's son who's a prospect. They're like two of the top 10.
Bichette?
Yes, Bichette, Dante Bichette's son. I thought they were sitting next to each other. Very, very cool. It's just very cool to see. But Vlad Guerrero Jr. is the big prospect for them. He's 18. He's young. So I don't know if we see him anytime soon, but it's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool because we grew up watching a guy like Vlad Guerrero hit balls off the ground.
Like he was golfing.
Hit him anywhere. Good luck trying to.
He swung at everything.
Intentional walk pitches he'd swing at and hit him.
Now they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk you. Just walk to first.
Oh, yeah. Vlad would still swing.
So, for me, that's kind of the story I'm gearing towards. But then we got the last two teams, Mike. Your nemesis, the Boston Red Sox. What do you think of this team?
Give me 1 sec here. On this. I have one thing quickly about. I want you guys to guess what Tulowitzki's numbers were last year for Toronto.
Oh God. He hit 215.
Not that bad.
240.
Yep, close. 249.
Well, how many games did he play? I need to know.
I don't know. 249, 7 homers, 26 RBIs.
He had 7 home runs. What did he play? Like 78 games?
And guess what? He's hurt right now, and he's doubtful for opening day. And a guy you just saw. I saw him. The Blue Jays got Aldamis Diaz
from the Cardinals. I forgot about that.
He's probably your opening day shortstop.
Make it better than Tulo.
And you might just roll with him.
Good call.
Yeah. All right, keep going. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that was good. Let's move on to the shit Sox.
Go for it.
The Red Sox are going to be good. But, will they be able to start hitting for power is a question for me. Now, they finally signed J.D. Martinez. To me, J.D. Martinez doesn't solve your problems of we couldn't hit any home runs. He's not going to J.D. Martinez is not going to carry a lineup.
Right.
Now, it's a good lineup when you have guys like Betts. You had Bogarts with a down year last year, so you expect to bounce back from him. Benintendi's a good young hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Devers, jury's still out. Other than that, you have Hanley, you have Mitch Moreland, Pedroia is just a shell of his Voldemort-looking self. So, it's interesting. They bring in Nunez. We'll see if they want to start Devers at third right out of the gate, or they want to give that job to Nunez and ease Devers kind of slowly along because they probably feel they can now.
Yeah.
Or do they just make Nunez the ultimate utility guy? They already have one of those guys, Brock Holt. So they're interesting. Does JD Martinez DH every day? Do they want to play him in left field? And kind of because those 3 outfielders are, with Bradley in center, another great defensive center fielder.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really want to take Mookie Betts or Benintendi out of the lineup. So where does Martinez kind of rotate in and out? Because if Martinez is DHing every day, Mitch Moreland or Hanley Ramirez is going to sit because only one of them can play first base.
That's true.
So it's interesting to see what they do. I hope they screw it up, to be honest. Now you get to the pitching, it's the barrage of lefties, Sale, Price, Pomeranz.
They got that Porcello.
Rodriguez.
Rick Porcello, who somehow won a fucking Cy Young.
Eduardo Rodriguez is lefty, too.
How many lefties can they run out there?
I know, they got a million.
Was he the guy that pitched the no-hitter? Or had one in the 9th last year, Rodriguez? I don't know.
I think you're right. He did have one. I don't think he ended up with one, though, did he? I
don't think so. So with Sale at the top, you're going to be okay. And with Kimbrel at the end of the bullpen, you're going to be okay. But it's everything in between. The rest of the bullpen doesn't fucking scare me at all.
No.
At all. Matt Barnes in the 8th will watch out.
Carson Smith.
Oh, boy. Guys, we're in trouble. Tyler Thornburg. I'm shaking in my boots,
Tyler Thornberry.
But listen, Kimbrel doesn't blow him. He doesn't blow him very often. So, listen, the Red Sox are going to be good. I don't think they're as good as the Yankees. But, in typical Yankee Red Sox fashion, I think they're good enough to make this a fun race all year. So So we'll see.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. It won't be like the other two divisions where it's going to be a runaway. You know who's going to win it right away. So it will be a kind of a fun race to the end. But I'm with you. I think the Yankees will take the cake on this one. But the Red Sox are a solid team. They've been solid. A lot of good young players, like you said. When you have a guy like Chris Sale on the mound, who's sometimes goes through stretches where he's just untouchable from the left side, like a sidearm too, not even over the top. I mean, just whipping 98 miles an hour. I mean, that's scary just thinking about it. Just reminds you of like Randy Johnson, you know?
Randy Johnson. He's not that much smaller than Randy Johnson.
No. So, very good team. And, you know, you mentioned Jackie Bradley, his defense. You know, you talked about the bevy of defensive center fielders in this division. We forgot Pilar on the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Who's
unbelievable defensively, too.
He'll make 10 catches this year. That is unbelievable.
Yeah. I know. So you're right that, you know, but let's get to your boys, man. Let's get to your boys. Let's start talking about them.
He makes like 10 catches a year that Michael Kay would say are the greatest catches he's ever seen. The greatest catch you will ever see. You know, just quickly, though, on the Red Sox, I got one thing on them. They had J.D. Martinez, 45 homers, and they got the Betts, Bradley, and Benintendi running that outfield. Now, we talk about Mike's worried, you know, doesn't think they're going to hit home runs, but Benintendi hit 20 as a rookie. Is there a chance he hits 30 this year? Is there a chance that Betts hits 30? And then if J.D. Martinez hits 30, that's 3 guys hitting 30 home runs, and you got guys that might sprinkle in some pop with Ramirez and Bogarts. I don't think Pedroia's going to really sprinkle in any, but Mitch Moreland will sprinkle in some homers. They might hit more home runs than we're thinking, and J.D. Martinez is not going to carry a lineup, but he doesn't need to carry the lineup. He's not the best hitter out there. I think Mookie Betts is fantastic, and I think Benintendi could be really good.
Oh, yeah.
So if J.D. Martinez comes in and just does, you know, he had a monster year last year. I don't think he's going to do that. But if he does something along those lines, maybe 35 home runs instead of 45, you're looking at a pretty good team, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
They're good.
My only issue with them, when I brought up the home runs, is that since David Ortiz left, where's Mookie Betts? But why didn't Mookie Betts do it last year?
Protection.
You know, why did Bogarts have such a bad year? You know, those are the questions I have. So
makes sense.
J.D. Martinez is not David Ortiz. So
not at all.
I don't see him coming and fixing this thing. They're not going to be a bad offense. That's not what I'm saying. They're going to be a very good offense, and I hate playing them. But I just think that they'll have stretches where they struggle to score runs.
And we're skipping the Orioles, too. Before we get to the Yanks, we forgot the Orioles.
Oh, the O's. We keep skipping a team. Let's talk about those douchebags. What do we got? The Orioles. Chris Davis still making his buttload of money.
Still can't pitch.
Dylan Bundy's good every other start.
Still have a pretty good manager. Just never puts it all together, though.
He's a great manager. But, you know, listen, you got Manny Machado still on the team. He's pretty good at baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Scope.
Shoop Badoop.
I hate that his name is Scope, by the way. Mike, we had so much fun with Shoop Badoop.
Let's just talk about it. It's spelled SCHOOP.
That's not Scope.
It doesn't spell scope.
That's Shoop.
That's Shoop Badoop.
It's not the damn mouthwash.
I know it's Dutch and he's from, you know, Aruba or Curacao, wherever he is. But he will be known as Shoop on this podcast forever.
Or Badoop.
What else you got?
Yeah, well, I love Dylan Bundy. And I really do. I love this guy. And I think
through 98 in like high school.
You know, I think he could be a stud for them. And if him and Gausman could pull it together, they added Andrew Cashner, who's okay, who has looked good in the past where you thought this guy's going to be really good in his pro career. And then he kind of hit some roadblocks. And then last year was solid again. Mm-hmm. But if these 3 guys can put something together at the top with Buck Showalter out there, and if Shoopadoop wants to be okay and be a little better, they got that Trey Mancini who had a really good year.
Yeah, Trey Mancini.
And then you still have...
If there was no Aaron Judge or Who was second in the Rookie of the Year?
Benintendi. Mancini would have won.
Mancini won. He had that good of a year.
And then after they made that trade with the Rays for Tim Beckham at short, he had a great year. 22 home runs from your shortstop, hitting basically 280.
It's an upgrade from J.J. Hardy. Scope out up. No, it doesn't work. You see, it does not work.
had to throw that in there, guys. Come on.
The Orioles should use that as like their battle cry. Or
no, he should come. That should be his walk-up song. You kidding?
Oh, that would be perfect. That would be perfect. No, real quick. I think Dylan Bundy is still young enough to really put some things together. Kevin Gossman, I'm just done with.
I don't like him.
No.
Kevin Gossman, he's horrible.
He's terrible.
I don't think if he would have figured it out, he would have done it already.
They still list him as the number one. It's just so weird. I would much rather throw Bundy out there.
Then that means they're going to be the worst team in the league.
And one other thing, they still have Trumbo too, but they also recently got Colby Rasmus, the recently retired and unretired Colby Rasmus. Did you know he left? He retired last year. Like
Colby Rasmus, wow.
And they picked him up, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about the Orioles. But let's get to your shindig, Michael.
Oh, the Yankees. The New York Yankees. Well, in terms of what's going on in the spring, I think there's a couple storylines. One story for me that I was really interested with was, as much as I killed Jacoby Ellsbury, I thought he had a very good shot of still being the starting center fielder for this team. Because let's be honest for a sec. What has Aaron Hicks really done?
It's true.
He had one good half of a baseball season. Let's be totally honest here. And I like Aaron Hicks. And you love him defensively. But that being said, I think that gave Ellsbury a really good shot. So what does Ellsbury go and do? He's 1 for 10 in the spring right now. So it's just the rope's wearing out, but he's going to be on the damn team. So the outfield becomes pretty set. I mean, when you have Stanton and Judge, who obviously won't be in the outfield at the same time very often, Gardner, Hicks, and Ellsbury, I mean, you're done in the outfield. So guys like Clint Frazier, even without the concussions and making this team out of the gate, Estevan Florial is the kid's incredible, but he's years away. So the outfield's set. Now, what the kid's doing at third base, Andahar.
Yeah.
I mean, you talked about who are you talking about? Kipnis going bananas with the 6 home runs in 6 games. I mean, Andahar had a pretty good showing. So I mean, he was. What was he at one point? 4 home runs and 12 at bats. He was his batting average wasn't 333. His home run average was 333, which is pretty incredible. So you bring in a guy like Brandon Drury, and yeah, I want to talk about Brandon Drury really quick.
I like it.
I love it. And people are talking about Brandon Drury like he's this journeyman veteran to hold on. He's 25 years old.
He could be really good.
Like, throw him in the prospect pool. You know what
I
mean?
agree.
He's 25. He's not even eligible for arbitration yet, for Christ's sake.
There was stuff last year where Arizona didn't play him a lot down the stretch, and he was having a pretty good year at the time, batting like 280 with like 10 homers, and he finished the year 267, 13 homers. It's not bad.
No, it's not. And the only thing with Andahar is, everyone knows he can hit. His bat has carried him through the system and kind of accelerated him through the system, and the glove hasn't really caught up. So it's a concern. Now, listen, if Miguel Andahar keeps hitting home runs every single spring training game, yeah, he's going to win the job if he keeps this up. Does he keep this up? Probably not. And the defense, it's not a huge deal, but it's a factor. So I would have absolutely no issue with Brandon Drury being the starting third baseman out of camp. But I think, and I would have no problem with Andahar starting in Scranton. I really would. But if he keeps this up, obviously, he's going to make the team, and he might win the third base job. Gleyber Torres, you can see the rust. You got to remember he had Tommy John surgery, and he hardly played last year. And and he's struggling at the plate, and that's okay. He's not gonna even if he hit a home run in every single at, he wasn't making the team because they're going to hold him down for the extra 12 days to get the extra year of service time out of him. We know that's happening. But he may need more time than that anyway. And that's okay. That's totally fine. When you have guys like Tyler Wade, who's having a really nice spring, you still have Ronald Torreyes. Second base will be totally fine until Gleyber Torres is ready to take it. Everywhere else is pretty set. We have our two catchers. Greg Bird's at first, Didi's at short. I mentioned the outfield. I guess the only other question is how many arms they want to carry. If they want to carry 12 or 13, I mean, we want to go through it. I mean, we have the 5 starters. We have Severino, we have Sonny Gray, we have Tanaka, we have CeCe, we have Montgomery. I mean, we got to go through the bullpen. You guys might have to help me. There are absolute locks in this bullpen.
Well, Chapman's a lock.
You have Chapman. I mean, Betances is a lock. Chad Green is a lock. Robertson's a lock. Canley is a lock.
Adam Warren's their long man.
Adam Warren is a lock. So that's 6 guys. That's it. So there's 11 pitchers. So now what do you do? They probably carry another lefty. I can see Chase and Shreve making the team, even though they don't have to do it. And we've talked about this too. Why have a lefty in there just because he's a lefty? Lefties cannot touch David Robertson. And Canley with the changeup is tough on lefties as well. So, I mean, they kind of have flexibility there. But if they wanted, if they want to carry a bunch of infielders and to start at least, you have a ton of days off in the beginning of the season, so you're not going to need a stretched out bullpen. They could, they're not going to carry 11 pitchers. They will take 12. So I can see Chase and Shreve. I don't know who else would really challenge Shreve right now after those 6 guys.
That guy Sessa?
Luis Sessa. He's kind of trash. I mean, he is kind of the quad A guy. He's too good for the minors, but every time we call him up, he sucks.
Yeah.
In a pinch, you can call him up and start a game, and he'll try his little heart out, bless his heart. But the guy never really puts it together. Other than that, I mean, that's it. I mean, how many home runs can we hit? That's the next question. I mean,
that's my question. So my big thing here is everyone wants to talk about Judge and Stanton. That's great. How many home runs combined? Who knows? But I'm thinking Gary Sanchez, who hit 33 home runs last year, he might become the biggest beneficiary of having these 2 guys in the lineup. Because I think that he's the best hitter of the 3 of them. I don't know if you call me crazy. I think he's the best hitter.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
So I think he's going to take advantage of. I don't know. I hate to say pitchers are going to relax against Sanchez, but they could. And I think he's going to take advantage. And this guy might hit 45 homers. He hit 33 last year. Is there a chance that these 3 guys can all hit 50? I mean, that's astronomical. Or maybe 150 combined. I think that's really in possibility. 150 combined between the 3.
Yeah, I think, I think it's on the table. Obviously, health, obviously, being the biggest factor. But I honestly don't see why not. I mean, I think a big guy in this lineup is Bird still. I mean, there was so many question marks with him going into last year, and then he had the ankle, but you could see Greg Bird start to put it together. But we still haven't seen enough. And to be honest, there's no fucking backup at first base to Greg Bird.
And was it Tyler Austin or something?
Well, we got to make room to carry Tyler Austin. I would love them to.
Right.
But that infield's going to get that's carrying a lot of infielders. If you mentioned the third baseman, 2 guys at second before Torres is ready.
Grab your glove, Ellsbury.
Why not?
Take your first baseman's glove. Aaron Hicks, get it.
Sanchez, is it too early to, I don't know. Because if Greg Bird, if he gets injured or, if he struggles out of the gate like he has in the past, where do you go? I don't know what Aaron Boone does. Because as it stands right now, we don't have a backup first baseman. That might be my only concern, to be honest, with the team.
That's a concern. That would be a concern, I guess, as a Yankee fan, if there was a concern. You're right. But there's always going to be a guy available.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a first baseman especially.
Yeah.
There's going to be a guy that you can get late in the year that you pick up, like what did they do? James Looney a few years ago with the Met, that are solid players, not great players, but guys that can fill the position, that are good defensively, that can hit you a little bit, that are professional hitters. First base is probably the deepest of those positions.
It's true, but you know who we got rid of? We had a great option at first base in the minor leagues. The G-Man, G-Man Choi.
Oh yeah,
he's gone. They let him walk for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They let him walk. I couldn't believe it.
G-Man Choi.
I had MLB Network on the other day. We were just watching some random spring game. I saw G-Man Choi come up. I was like, where'd you son of a bitch? They let him go.
Mike, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Who's going to play the bulk of the DH position?
Probably Stanton.
Okay.
I would think, and there's still flexibility there. Because they don't want to make Stanton a full-time DH.
Right. No, you don't.
And I understand that just because it's so – and the Yankees have had this for years. They haven't had a full-time DH in a long time because it's the half day off and the manager gives them a little more reassurance of kind of giving a guy rest. You can DH Gary Sanchez and then, put Stanton in right field. You could even – Judge is worked in left a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you foresee one of them, moving over to left for a game or something?
You'll see days where Romine's catching Sanchez DH, Stanton in right, Judge in left.
Right, because that's the problem you run into. You have to have Sanchez DH sometimes.
Yeah, no, you will, because if we have thoughts of 40 to 50 home runs, you're going to play 145, 150 games. You can't catch that much.
Well, maybe one of them's got to learn first base a little bit.
Yeah, right. I mean, I
big enough.
guess you could. I would hesitate to do it. I would lean towards Stanton doing it. He's just further along his career. I mean, Judge, he's a good outfielder. I want Aaron Judge in the outfield.
He is
really
good.
He's a great athlete. And when he dives like 40 feet, so he covers a lot of ground.
It covers a ton of ground.
He's like dunk from the foul line. You mentioned Stanton, Ryan. Mike's talking about him being the full-time DH, and he might be. I think he will be more the DH than anybody else.
Yeah.
Have we ever seen a guy like Stanton, a star of the game, be so willing to play DH that has a cannon for an arm like this and willing to put that on the back shelf?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, from Yankees right field, you don't really need a cannon.
That's true.
But it always helps.
Johnny Damon could
just a little jab, Mike. It's not a
No, and listen, you play on the road too.
That Little League field?
You play on the road too.
And they move the fence back when the other team comes up, blah, blah, blah. I know.
Air conditioning's on when you're up.
Right.
Oh, wait, you're outdoors.
Home field advantage. It's cooking, baby.
Okay, so, Mike, this team is obviously primed for another run. Yada yada yada, and we know that the team it's pretty stacked on a lot of facets. What's the weakness on this team? Is it the starting pitching? What is it?
Honestly, it's not really personnel wise, but one thing I want to see improve is play on the road. We're not good road team last year at all. And for whatever reason, and honestly, a guy who I love to hate. You look at Betances' splits from last year. He was almost dominant at home, and if you told me that, I wouldn't have believed you until I looked at the numbers up. And on the road, he was fucking god awful. Wow. And it's not like as Betances goes, his team goes, but the team he was kind of a microcosm of the team. We were not good on the road. I think a concern. This team is it might be Aaron Boone. Could be the weak link of this team, to be honest. Now, I don't think Aaron Boone has to do much.
He's a rookie manager, though.
He is a rookie manager, right? But, so was AJ Hinch a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It's just a question mark.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He could be the best manager in the league
for
all we know.
You don't know. But to me, what makes the best man, it's about the Willies and the Joes, man. It's about the players.
Yeah.
I love that. The Willies. I love when you say that. The Willies and the Joes.
It's not the X's and the O's. It's the Willies and the Joes. But I mean, can he really screw it up? I mean, listen, managing the bullpen is, I think, the biggest job a manager has in today's game, because it gets used so much.
Mhm.
But he's got so many weapons out there. It's just keeping guys fresh and keeping the locker room happy. That's his job to me. And fill out the lineup card however you want, because there's not really a bad way to do it. And you just you go out and play. But yeah, like Riley, like you said, it's a question mark. We don't know. But he did hit a walk-off home run in Game 7 against the Red Sox, so he would have to fuck up pretty bad for me to not like him. I'm not worried about it because I don't think he could screw it up, to be honest.
I agree.
All right, boys. Yeah, no, that was a breakdown of all the divisions. You guys got any other extras to throw out there about the American League?
How about this? We'll preview our awards in a later episode and all that. But let's do one. Who wins American League Manager of the Year? Let's do that one right now on the spot.
Well, we're just talking about them. I think because of their record and what it's going to be, like you said, I mean, I think he's a question mark, but I think it's Aaron Boone. I think Boone could win Manager of the Year because this team could win 115 games. That's a lot, but they could, right? Is that possible?
Yeah.
That's a lot of wins.
Yeah. No, I know it is.
I'm not going to say no, it's not out of the realm. No, but
it's not out of the realm, right? But all right, 110, 105. But they're a 100-win team, okay? They're going to get 100 wins. He's a rookie manager. Are they taking that into consideration? Or are they going to look at it and say, oh, they have a lot of guys. His job is supposed to be this easy. But the expectation is so high that 100 wins might get him that. And be like, oh, he met the expectations as a rookie manager. 100 wins. I don't know.
Who won it last year? If somebody remind me.
Was it Hinch?
Was it Hinch or Tito?
That's it's one of those guys. It's got to be one of those guys.
I mean, my prediction is Hinch. I like the Boone one because it's a little out of the box, and I mean maybe not, but
when you're looking for it, you kind of that's what I'm kind of searching for, a team that comes out of the woodwork. Maybe to surprise you, even make that 1-game playoff. I don't know. Is it Molitor? I don't know.
Yeah,
Paul Molitor.
Yeah,
maybe a dark horse with the Twins.
I'm gonna go with that one. How about that, Mike? I'll go with Molitor.
I like that. And I'll take the manager of the best team. I'll take Hinch.
Okay.
I'll do the boring one.
Oh, Molitor was the manager of the year last year.
Was he?
Not a dark horse. He is
right. So he's not he is not a dark horse.
Wow. I still think he is.
Yeah, I mean, can he win it 2 years in a row? Probably not. That's very tough to do. But
okay. Well,
we'll talk about
the National League. But yeah, Ryan, Stan just looked up Ryan, do you know the National League Manager of the Year from last year? I sure as hell didn't.
Let me hold on. Give me. Was it Dave Roberts? No, right?
Correct division.
Oh, okay.
And they were a player. Now I'm narrowing it down.
Is it who's the Rockies manager? Is it Rockies manager?
No, but it was like Clint
D-backs.
D-backs, yeah. Do you know the guy's name?
No, I don't.
Torey Lavulo.
Oh, that's what? That is funny, man. Well, Kirk Gibson won it there too.
Right.
That year he was there.
What?
Wow. Wow. That's a wow.
Yeah, in 2011, Gibson won it.
Did Bob Brenly ever win in Arizona? That schmuck.
I remember Bob Brenly.
Bushy mustache.
No, Bob Melvin did though.
Oh,
so
Bob
actually,
Melvin.
in the last 10 years, they've had 3 managers of the year with the Diamondbacks. 3 different managers.
That's a fun little stat.
That is a fun stat.
Wow.
A fun little stat. See what you get when you listen? Fun little stats like that.
It's funny the guys out of the league though.
Torey Lavulo
very cool.
And Paul Molitor are your reigning champs.
And the year before though, right, Dave Roberts did win, and I believe that was his first year as a manager. So maybe the voters like the rookie manager. I don't know. We'll see. So that's why Aaron Boone's my choice.
It's a good choice. Rookie manager on an absolute loaded team. That's a very good choice. Very, very good choice. Yeah, guys, we'll be back. We'll be back to do our NL preview soon. Guys, one more thing. Any last words before we get moving?
How many days we got till opening day? 23?
Something like that.
I just love that it's freaking baseball season, that I'm going to be talking baseball with you guys for the next many, many weeks and months.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Last thing I will say, and I know you guys will enjoy this, the bullpen cart is back, boys. The bullpen cart.
The Diamondbacks brought it back. I saw their new one.
And the D-backs are going to feature it first. So I'll be on the lookout for that because those things are fun to watch.
How fast are they going to go?
Probably like
I was thinking about
3 miles an hour.
What, like tipping over and a guy getting hurt?
They have to go at some decent speed, otherwise it won't pace up the game.
It defeats the purpose.
Because then you'll have these guys that run in like, who used to run in like real fast, like sprint.
Oh, it was the heavyset guy. What was that? Who was that guy?
Rich Garces. Anyway, these guys would come in sprinting their ass off, probably running like 18 miles an hour. So this cart's got to go at least 18 miles an hour.
That is great.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. I knew you guys would love that. The bullpen cart is back. The little hat on top of the golf cart.
Love it.
Should be interesting. I don't know. Like, do they fancy it up? Is it going to look like more modern? Who knows?
I hope it doesn't. I hope it's throwback.
I think if you're going to bring something like that back, something so vintage and classic, you got to keep it the way it was.
Like a rusty door, like car,
just one. It just looked like a bubble.
Some jalopy coming out.
So great. There was Rye. I was looking him up today because I heard the news, and I saw it was Johnny Franco was driving one out the bullpen.
It would just be funny if he was like the guy all season that drove the guys to the mound.
Oh man, it's great. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. But like I said, guys, we'll be back for to preview our NL divisions. Rye, I know you'll get excited for that. We'll get to talk a little Mets. So you guys you'll hear what we have to say about our team. Please, guys, follow us on Twitter at The Angry Hacks. Give us a tweet. Also, download our content on iTunes. Give us a little review too. And 5 stars is always worth it. So just hit us up. We'll be back for some more. I know we've been off a little bit, but it's baseball season. We're excited. We're ready to roll these pods out for you. So have a nice little week, and we'll be back soon, guys, with the NL preview.